So thanks to those joining. We'll wait a few minutes before we actually start, but today's class we're going to do a Vinyasa class, so a flow class. We'll start with our usual activation and warm-up. Then we'll do our Surya Namaskar, our sun salutations, we'll do our flow, and then end off with a few stretches and inversions. So, a few things to note. Please, if you're not sure whether you should be exercising, then double check with your doctor. Also, if at any point you feel any pain, please stop, reset and start again, or otherwise just take a break. The most important thing to build strength and stamina is obviously to do the exercise with the best form that you possibly can. Really trying to make that mind-muscle connection whenever you're performing any exercise. So take breaks where you need to. Of course, push yourself, but know the difference between pain, where you should stop and reset, and hard work. So I think we will get started, and we will come onto our mats into a nice comfortable position. You can sit in Vajrasana like I am on your knees, but of course if this is uncomfortable, feel free to sit in cross-legged. In this position as well, you can always slot a pillow in between the knees, which helps. And the point is just to find a position that you can sit with a nice straight spine as we begin the class and the breathing. So, in your comfortable positions on your mat, you're going to slowly begin to close your eyes. Gently rest your palms on the top of your knees and begin to focus on your breath. Allow yourself the next hour to dedicate it to yourself, to your practice, and to feeling better after you're done. So bringing your focus between the center of the eyebrows, we're going to begin with our sankalp, our intention. Your intention can be just for the class, it can be for the week, or something much longer for the year. A short positive statement, and repeat it to yourself 3 times. Deep inhales and exhales through the nose. Slowly now interlacing the fingers and bringing them up over your head, sending the palms up towards the ceiling and extending through each of those vertebrae. Trying here as well not to arch the back, but create length, sending the crown up towards the ceiling. Slowly releasing the hands, bringing them down to the side. We're going to gently twist to the left and coming back to center, gently twist to the right. And slowly coming back to center, gently placing the palms on the knees and slowly beginning to open your eyes. From here, we're going to move on onto our backs. So slowly rolling down, you're going to have your knees bent Also, the myth that you need to touch your heels is not true. So literally trying to find your comfortable position. The further away you take the feet from the hips, the more you work the hamstrings, and obviously the closer they are towards the hips, the more we work the glutes. So here we're wanting to wake up these big muscles that really stabilize and help us through all our everyday activities. So if you have a block, you can grab a block, and the widest way you can bring them between the knees. If you don't, that's fine too. So from here, you're going to lift up into a low bridge. Placing your palms, finding those hip bones, we're wanting to try and create a nice neutral pelvis, fingers pointing inwards towards the pelvic bone. Now beginning to focus on those feet, and you're going to think that perhaps you have some sort of dial that your feet are on, and you're dialing them outwards, but you're not actually moving your feet. It's an energetic feeling as opposed to an actual movement. By doing that, squeezing the block if you've got it. If you don't have the block, you just think about that magnetic force almost coming towards each other, those thighs. But obviously, don't allow those knees to collapse inwards. With the feet working, you should really start to feel those glutes here. So while we're here, we're going to now bring our hands up, and we're going to begin to stretch through our wrists. So you're going to bring your four fingers, and you're going to use your left hand to bring the right four fingers down towards you, stretching out that wrist, sending the thumb out towards the side. Deep breaths, not forgetting about those hips and glutes, pushing into the feet, squeezing the block if you have one, and switching sides, hands if you haven't. So right palm is bringing the left fingers down towards you, and the thumb extending out towards the side. Letting go. We're going to make a nice big fist and then extend those fingers, really spreading them. And again, and at the same time, we're going to do just gentle pulses with those hips as well. So squeezing and really waking up those glutes. Extending the hands, spreading those fingers, because the wrists, we also need to warm up. You should be feeling everything now starting to generate a little bit of heat, and slowly from there relax all the way down, and you can let go of the block if you had one. And now keeping knees bent, placing your palms on either side of the ribs. So we did this last week as well. What I want you to do is from here, I want you to inhale and really feel those fingertips almost spreading as you fill the lungs with air, and then exhale completely, and then the fingers and the hands should slowly come back towards each other. And as you exhale completely, you should start to feel a little bit of engagement with the abs. So inhale once again, and exhale completely, beginning to feel how those front ribs soften down and begin to engage. Now, through any abdominal work that we do and any exercise, this is kind of the feeling that we're hoping to create. So you're not flaring the ribs up, they're coming nicely soft and down towards the mat, and the upper abdominals start to engage. Now we're going to think about the pelvic floor, and you're thinking about that, just gently beginning to lift up towards the nose. Nice neutral pelvis as well, so we're not tipping up the pelvis up towards the nose, and we're not arching all the way. In between, you're going to find your nice neutral pelvis. Interlacing the fingers, you're going to place them behind the head. The point here too is that the hands are not there to yank your head forward and your neck forward. They're more there as a hammock to lie your head in and rest it in, so that we're not straining the neck. arms are up next to, your elbows are up next to your ears, and you're going to take an inhale and exhale as you come up. Now, another thing I want you to think about in this position is a lot of people tend to almost pooch. There's like, as you do this, you create almost like a little mountain as you come up. Now that is engaging our superficial muscles, so our six-pack muscles, but they're not necessarily very good for supporting or stabilizing. So you want to think about the belly button extending back towards the backbone and also not tipping the pelvis under. So inhale, coming back down. We're going to try that again. So exhale, coming up, shoulder blades come up off the mat, thinking about that belly button going down towards the mat and sucking the pelvis, the pelvic floor up towards you. And inhale, coming down. Exhale, coming up. From here, you're going to lift the left knee, bring it above the left hip, making sure those shoulder blades come up off the mat, and taking the foot back down. Inhale, coming down. Exhale, coming up. Bringing the right knee above the right hip, coming up ever so slightly off those shoulder blades, not pooching in the stomach, and bringing the knee down. Inhale, coming back down. Exhale, coming up, not yanking that neck. Left knee above the left hip. You're now going to extend the right arm up towards the ceiling and then just push up. Send that heel towards the ceiling a little bit further. And bring the hand back, knee down, inhale down. And exhale, coming back up. Remembering belly button down towards the back. Right knee above the right hip. Left arm up towards the ceiling. And now extend really a little bit extra, sending the heel up towards the ceiling. And bringing the hand, knee down, inhale. So last one each side. Exhale, coming up. Left knee above the left hip. Hand extends to the ceiling. And now twisting ever so slightly towards the left without moving that left knee. And come up, not allowing the left shoulder blade to come down onto the mat. Hand back, knee down. And last one, exhale, coming up. Right knee over the hips, extending the left hand up towards the ceiling, twisting ever so slightly towards the right, keeping that right knee stable and extending a little further, feeling those obliques working, keeping the right shoulder off that mat. Hand back, knee down, inhale, coming down. So you should start feeling a bit of heat coming through. We're going to come up now onto all fours into our quadruped position. We've got our wrists underneath our shoulders, knees under the hips. Now, we've just spent a lot of time warming up and waking up those abdominal muscles. Now, don't lose that. So we're going to do some cat and cow, but as you are coming into your cow, you don't want to think about like literally spilling your guts. You want to keep that connection as you inhale and you're pulling those palms, those hands back towards the knees without actually moving them, feeling the engagement, that nice stretch. And exhale, coming into a nice arch, tipping under and stretching through. Inhale, and here, pulling those palms back towards you. Exhale. One last inhale, sort of coming into like a nice cobra chest. So also not straining your neck and looking up towards the ceiling too much, and slowly coming back and settling into our neutral position. We're going to warm up the shoulders a little bit. So pushing through the whole of the hand, we're going to do our scapular push-ups. Lifting the belly, also not allowing it to collapse as we do this movement. Trying to not allow the shoulders to come up around the ears either. So staying nice and strong here, you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together and push them away. Keeping the chin neutral. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and push away. So we've got 6 more. Squeeze, don't forget about the abs. Push. squeeze, check in with the neck, push away, 3 left, squeeze, push, squeeze. Really think about, like, perhaps you have a cherry tomato between those shoulder blades and you're trying to pop, squeeze it, and coming back. From here, also maintaining our nice neutral pelvis, we're going to begin with our hip circles. So here, you're focusing on trying to push equally through both hands. We're going to lift the right knee to start with, so you're going to try and not pop that left hip. You're trying to use those abdominals to keep you nice and stable. So hovering that right knee slightly above the mat, we're going to inhale, bringing it in towards that right elbow. Here as well, we're also not trying to tuck the tailbone under. Coming out into quadruped, so out to the side, and then circling all the way back into tiger, checking in with the neck. Inhale, bringing it into the right elbow, out to the side, back behind you. Inhale, one last in this direction, out into quadruped, sending it back into tiger. Here too, not arching the back. You keeping that belly engaged, using the glute, and reverse. Back into tiger, coming out into quadruped to the side, into that right elbow, sending it back behind. Squeeze using that glute. Out into, in towards the right elbow, and out behind. Last one, fire hydrant, into the right elbow, sending it back behind into tiger. Now gently dropping that right foot behind you, we're going to come into our modified side plank. So here, checking in, wrist is under the shoulders, that left shoulder is not coming up next to the ear, and we're just going to feel a nice stretch and opening through the side body. That should feel actually really quite lovely. Pushing through the whole of the hand, not allowing yourself to fall back towards the pinky side. Coming down, we're going to come into plank, squeezing those glutes, and exhale, pushing back into our first down dog. From here, you're going to begin to bicycle those knees, and opening up the calves, thinking about the hands, pushing through the whole of the hands, sending the heels now down towards the mat. They don't actually need to touch the mat. And once again, that softening of the ribs we spoke about earlier, you want that engagement in the abdominals as you are here. You're also not flaring the ribs out, strong through the shoulders. Last breath. We're going to inhale, we're going to step the left foot in between the palms, coming into a low lunge, and then we're going to parallel our feet towards the side of the mat and turn towards the back of the mat into a nice low lunge. Place the palms down and send that leg back into down dog on the other side. Bicycle our knees, nice deep breaths, pushing through each of those fingers, not letting it fall out to the pinky side, and slowly coming back down into quadruped, resetting, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and we're going to do our hip circles on the left side. So, equally balancing the weight through both hands, not letting the right hip pop out, hovering that left knee, bring it into the left elbow, out to the side into fire hydrant, out behind into tiger, squeezing, using that glute, and in to the left elbow, out to the side, back behind you, into fire hydrant. Into tiger, sorry. Into the left elbow, out to the side, exhale behind, not arching, checking in where the chin is. And reverse, sending it back up behind, glute is working, out into fire hydrant. Left elbow, out behind, fire hydrant, elbow, out behind, this is the last one, fire hydrant, elbow, and back behind. Dropping the left foot behind, coming into our modified side plank, squeezing those glutes together as well. So checking in with the right shoulder that it's not coming up. You can release the head as well here, and just feeling a lovely stretch all the way through the side of that body. And slowly coming back, we're going to come into plank, squeezing the glutes, pushing through those hands, dip the knees, squeezing the glutes still here, and gently coming down towards the mat. Inhale, coming up into cobra, squeezing the shoulder blades, squeezing the glutes, and exhale, pushing back into down dog. You can walk those feet in slightly, and taking a deep breath here, and slowly walking those hands back towards the feet and sitting back into a nice squat, not allowing the knees to extend too far over the toes. You're really trying to sit back, keeping the palms on the floor, releasing the head, and slowly we're going to roll all the way up, and we're going to now come towards the front of the mat, and we're going to begin our Surya Namaskar, our sun salutations. So today we're going to do 16 of them. The first few we'll go through slowly, and then we'll sort of try and gain a little bit of momentum, but dependent on how you feel, go at your own pace. You don't need to do all 16 of them. It really is up to you feeling good in your body and being mindful of yourself and how much you can or can't do. So here as well, standing at the front of your mat, you're going to spread the toes nice and wide. You're going to think now as well as, where does your weight fall? Are you going have a tendency to go towards the balls? Are you towards the heels? Are you compensating on one side? You want to try and equally distribute that weight between the toes, the heels. From there, the ankles will be good. The knees can then stack on top of the ankles, the hips on top of the knees, and the shoulders on top of the hips. That corset that we just woke up as we're doing our abdominal warm-up should be nicely supporting you, as are your glutes. Bring your palms in the center of your chest. We're going to take 2 deep breaths here. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. One more, and exhale. And on the next inhale, we're going to send our arms up over our head, extending up towards the ceiling, and then if it feels good, you can come into a gentle back bend, squeezing those glutes. Exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips, fingertips to the floor. You might want to keep your knees nice and soft, especially for this first one. And inhale, right leg steps back. We're coming into our Sushin challenge, so into our nice low lunge, squeezing that right hip. Exhale, taking both legs back. We're in a nice strong plank here. Checking with the neck, nice, it's not hanging down and we're not craning up. And we dip our knees. And without sending your weight forward, you want to literally come down, elbows shooting straight back up. Inhale, coming up into cobra. Toes come down, pushing onto the tops of those feet, pushing through the hands, squeezing the shoulder blades. Don't forget about those lower abdominals supporting you. Exhale, tucking the toes under. You can push back onto your knees and then send the hips up towards the ceiling into down dog. Stepping those feet in and feeling that strength through the hands. Inhale, we're going to step the right foot between the palms. Another low lunge. Exhale, both feet between the palms, still keeping your knees soft. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. Stepping the left leg back, inhale. Both legs back, exhale, plank. We're going to dip our knees, chest and chin here and holding our breath. So dip knees, chest, chin, inhale, coming up into cobra, pushing into the tops of the feet, squeezing the shoulder blades. Exhale into down dog. Walk those feet in if you need to. Inhale, left foot comes between the palms. Exhale both. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, hinging at the hips, fingertips down. Right leg back, inhale. Both legs back, exhale. Now here you can continue to dip the knees, or otherwise you can come straight down. Inhale into cobra, pushing those feet, squeezing those glutes. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, the right foot comes between the palms, both between the palms. Exhale, coming up, hinging forward. Left leg back, both legs back. Either dip the knees or come straight down. Inhale, coming up into cobra. Exhale, pushing back into down dog. Inhale, left leg comes in between, both legs between. We've done 4. Inhale, coming up, hinging forward. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, both legs back, coming down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg in between the palms. Exhale, both. Inhale, coming up, hinging forward. Left leg back, both legs back. Straight down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale. Walk those feet in if you inhale, left foot comes together, both legs together. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. Right leg back. Plank. Hold the breath as you dip down. Inhale into cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg forward. Both. Inhale. Exhale. Left leg back. Both. Dipping down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg. Right leg. Inhale. So we're halfway. Exhale, down. Right leg back. We can try and increase the pace. Coming down. Inhale into cobra. Exhale. Right leg forward. Both together. Inhale. As you do this as well, exhale. You're trying to keep your movements nice and soft on the mat. Both legs back. Dipping down. Inhale. Glutes are working, so are those abs. Exhale, down dog. Left leg forward. Both legs forward. 6 to go. Inhale. Hinge forward. Right leg back. Both. Dip. Inhale, cobra. Exhale. Right leg forward. Both. If you're tired, feel free to sit back in child's pose. Left leg back. Both. Dip. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left forward. Both. Inhale, up. Hinge. Right back. Both. Dip. Inhale, cobra. Exhale. Right leg forward. Both. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Left back. Both. Dip down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale. Left leg forward. Both. We've got 2 left. Inhale, hinging forward. Right leg back. Both. Dipping down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale. Right leg forward. Both. Inhale for our last one. Exhale, hinging forward. Left foot back. Both. Dipping down. Inhale into cobra. Exhale into down dog. And now stay here in down dog. Nice deep breaths. Pushing through those hands. And pushing through the feet. One last breath. And inhale, bring in the left in between the palms. Both. And inhale, coming up. Exhale, palms in the center of the chest. So you can put your hands into Hridaya Mudra. So you're bending the forefinger and then the thumb rests on the ring and middle finger. And this just helps to bring the heart rate down. So also take a moment here and feel your heart pounding in your chest and noticing your breath as it slowly comes back down. If you've got water, trying to allow your breath to regulate before you have a sip. And slowly coming back, taking a sip if you need, and we will now do the flow section of the class. So, like in any of the other parts, if there's anything that doesn't feel good, don't do it. Stop, reset, and join us again. I know it's slightly more difficult in a flow class because we're moving from one posture to the next, but really think about as well mindfully moving from one posture to the next. Using that integrated core and our glute is really important as they stabilize us and then allow us to move all the peripherals from there. So each of your movements, you really should be initiating it from this powerhouse here in the center. And if you work from there, you're far less likely to injure yourself because you're coming from a place of strength. So as we begin the flow section, just be mindful of that, and also remember this is for enjoyment. So enjoy the movement and that pushing and working hard as opposed to pain. So once again, we're going to come and we're going to stand at the front of our mat, spreading the toes, really spreading them wide apart, trying to remember to push down through the mound of that big toe. And when you do that, not forgetting about the pinky. So really dispersing it equally across the foot. Once you start to feel how you push and send that energy into the floor, it pushes back up, giving you something back, and you should start to feel the engagement here where your hamstrings and your glutes meet. So all of that starts to work together, and already you should feel, as you're standing here strong, a position of strength. We're not just hanging out. So ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, all stacked one on top of the other. Lots of women these days seem to have this tilt in the hips, which really creates so many problems. So you're also thinking about bringing that tailbone down towards you without also massively arching it towards your nose. So palms in the center of your chest. Taking a deep inhale and exhale. On the next inhale, we're going to take the arms up over our head. Exhale, bringing the fingertips down towards the mat. Keep your knees soft if you need to, that's okay. Inhale, stepping that right leg back behind. Thinking about this right hip working as we are in this position already. Placing the palms down, we're going to send that left leg up behind into three-legged dog. Not tipping out towards the side. You really want that left glute to be working. Pushing through those hands. We're going to puff up between the shoulders And we're going to bring that knee towards the forehead, squeezing it and sending it back up towards the ceiling and squeeze it in towards the forehead. Here as well, using those abs to do this movement and not relying on momentum. Exhale, sending the left hip back up towards the ceiling. Inhale, knee towards that forehead. Exhale, sending it back up for one last. Knee towards the forehead. Squeezing, sending it up towards the ceiling. Rolling forward, we're going to come into single leg plank. Keeping that left leg up behind you, squeezing that glute. Now, depending on your strength, you can stay here to come down or drop the leg, but we're going to dip down towards the mat and we're going to come up into locust. So, raising up the front and the back body, those feet, squeezing these glutes, sending the fingertips towards the back wall. Squeeze coming up and coming back down, palms under the shoulders, pushing into plank. Exhale into down dog. Deep breath. Inhale, sending that left leg up behind again. Three-legged dog. Coming forward, one-legged plank. Either drop or keep it up behind, and we're coming down towards the mat. Inhale into locust. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. Hips, glutes are working. Coming down. Palms underneath the shoulders. Pushing back into plank. Use your knees if you need to. Exhale. Going back into down dog. Deep breath. Pushing through the hands. Inhale, left leg goes up once again behind. Three-legged dog. From here we're going to bring that left foot in between the palms or slightly behind, and we're going to come into bent knee airplane. So loading that left foot, we come up, palms facing down towards the mat, right leg extends out behind. Slowly we're going to come up, bringing the knee in towards the chest. You can place your hands on your pelvis and exhale, sending that leg back out behind you. Inhale, knee coming up towards the chest. Exhale, sending it back out behind. Being mindful through all this movement and bringing the knee once more in towards the chest, placing the palms in the center of the chest and energetically pushing them towards each other. We're going to send that right leg out behind once more. So here we are in our bent knee and we're now going to crunch. So you're going to bring that right knee towards the palms. Inhale and send it back out. That glute is working as well as the one we're standing on. And 3 more. In, sending it out. 2 more. And sending it out. 1 last. Bringing it in. Sending it out. Gently stepping the back leg back. Coming into a high lunge. Pausing here. 2 deep breaths. Now just because we're standing here doesn't mean we forget about this right glute here. Sending the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Slowly rolling the back foot down. We're going to come warrior 2. So arms extend out towards the sides. Our chest is facing the side of the mat. And we gently turn our gaze over the front knees, fingertips. I don't know if that actually makes any sense. And we're going to come into reverse warrior. Exhale, coming forward. We're going to put the left elbow on the left knee and coming into warrior variation. And reverse warrior. This should feel lovely. Exhale, warrior variation. One last reverse warrior. And forward into warrior variation. From here, we're going to windmill the hands down towards the back of the mat. Placing the hands either side of that right foot in a nice low lunge. Glute is on. From here, we're going to do the opposite side. So, sending that right knee, leg up towards the ceiling. Three-legged dog. And bringing that knee in towards the forehead. And sending it back up towards the ceiling, squeezing, using that hip, not falling out to the side. It doesn't matter how high you lift the leg, as long as you're working that glute. Inhale, bring it in towards the forehead. Two more. Up towards the ceiling, pushing through those hands, not letting the weight fall out towards the pinky. Inhale, towards the forehead. Back up towards the ceiling. Last one. And squeezing, pushing forehead to knee. Sending it up towards the ceiling. Rolling forward, we're coming into three-legged plank. Squeezing those hips. Now without allowing the weight to fall forward, either drop that and come straight down, or keep it up in three-leg. And coming up into locust. So squeezing, lifting, raising the front and the feet, shoulder blades squeezing. Exhale, palms underneath the shoulders, pushing into plank, back into down dog. Sweeping the right leg up behind you and rolling forward into plank. Squeezing that hip, coming down to the mat and inhale into locust, squeezing. Not forgetting about the abdominals as well, glutes are working. Palms underneath the shoulders, pushing into plank. Exhale into down dog. Remembering to distribute that weight through each of those fingers, rooting down. Inhale, right leg goes up, squeezing that right glute. Inhale, we're going to step that right foot forward, loading now through that right foot, and we're coming into our bent knee airplane, squeezing the left hip. Inhale, coming, raising that knee up towards the chest. You can bring the palms onto the pelvis, onto the hips. Exhale, back behind you. This is where you really need to focus and be mindful. Inhale, knee in towards the chest. Exhale, behind you, two more. Slowly coming back through it. And knee in towards the chest. Last one. Sending it out behind. And squeezing that knee back up. Palms in the center of your chest, energetically pushing towards each other. And we're going to go back into the final one, and we're going to do our 4 crunches here. So inhale, bringing the knee towards the palms. Send it back. 3 more. And in. 2 more. In towards. Put one last. Squeezing. Bringing it in. Sending it back. Gently stepping that back knee down. Coming into a nice high lunge. Here as well, we also not flaring those ribs. You're staying strong here through that front body. Glute is working. Arms are up either side. Both of those hips should be burning. So 2 breaths. And in through the nose, out through the nose. And slowly swiveling that back heel down, we're coming into warrior 2. Also being mindful here, you don't want the knee collapsing inwards. You really want to think about the outer part of that hip working, keeping the knee tracking over the ankle and over those 2nd and 3rd toes. Arms come out either side, and you gently gaze over the middle finger in front of you. And we're going to reverse warrior, coming forward, right elbow onto the right, into warrior variation. And coming back, reverse warrior, and warrior variation. Last one, reverse warrior, and warrior variation. And last part here, we're going to parallel the feet, and we're going to just send coming into a side lunge, bringing the fingertips down, kicking that right leg out. Also here, we're coming now to the right side, left, we've got 7 and out. Here as well, the movement can be small. And 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, coming down, turning that left toe towards the front of the mat, coming into a low lunge, and stepping both feet towards each other, gently coming up, exhaling down, palms in the center of the chest. So here, taking a quick breath, a few deep breaths, just to relax, shaking out the legs, because those hips have worked quite hard. So, we're slowly going to come down to sit on the mat, and we're going to come into Gomuktasana, so cow face pose. So you're going to bend the left knee, and then you're going to bend the right knee over the top. So here you're trying to stack your knees one over the other, and this, you should feel a nice stretch. I mean, I used to hate this pose, in fact. I used to find it incredibly painful, but it's fantastic to stretch those hips. So from here, you're going to bring the right arm in the center, and then you're going to bring the left underneath and wrap around. If this is uncomfortable or hurts the shoulders or whatever it is, just place your palms in the center of your chest. Otherwise, you can bring your hands into this pose, staying strong, trying to keep those hip bones on the floor. And depending on how you feel, you can gently bring the elbows down towards the knees. You can intensify the stretch as much or as little as you want. Deep breaths here. 2 breaths. Not forgetting about those abs. They don't just suddenly spill all over everywhere. They're still trying to support you. You can release the hands, bring them either side of those knees wide, and keeping a straight back here too, so you're really not trying to arch. You're keeping nice and straight, supporting through those abs. You can bring the chest slowly towards the knees. Checking in with the neck. If it feels good, you can bring the hands all the way down and slowly walk the hands back. And from here, you're going to unwrap the knees, and the right foot is going to go behind, and you'll have the left foot sort of at the top of the knee. So we're kind of in a bit of a 90-90, and you're going to come over that left knee and gently come down here as well. And coming up. We're going to switch now to the other side. So this time we've got the right leg at the bottom and the left leg stacks on top of that right knee. You're trying not to allow either of those hips to hike up. So you're really trying to keep the weight centered onto the mat without coming up. And from here, left arm comes up. You can wrap the right arm underneath and stay nice and stable through those. And if this is enough, stay here. If the arms don't feel good, release. Anybody else, you can gently start trying to, without arching through that back, bringing those elbows towards the knees. Really focusing through the breath. Coming back up, releasing the hands, bringing them either side, keeping a nice straight back, core engaged, neutral neck, and with a straight back, trying to just bring the chest down towards those knees. As I said before, you can bring the hands down if you want to increase, but try not to arch through that back. You really are trying to keep that chest nice and open as you do these movements. And slowly coming back up, we can release and wrap, sending the left leg behind, so right foot to left knee, sort of at our 90, and then walking the hands over and slowly coming down towards the mat. Deep breaths. And slowly coming back up and coming round. We're going to come to sit here as well. We're going to think about sending the legs out in front of us. We don't want this either to be a passive stretch or movement, so you're literally trying to sit up nice and tall. Abs are sitting you up. You bring the hands either side of you. So in Dandasana here as well, your shoulders, you're opening up through here without flaring the ribs, staying strong here, trying to sit up nice and tall, bringing the toes towards you. Really strong here. Here you can set the feet slightly wider, palms where they are. We're going to come up just into table, so sending those hips up, also not sending the head back, nice pushing through each of those fingers, squeezing those glutes, and exhale, you want to bring those hips back through the hands. One more. Not forgetting, don't let that stomach pooch. And bringing the hips through, sitting down, bringing those legs towards, the toes towards you, sending the arms up. Gently we're going to come into our forward fold. Here as well, instead of thinking about grabbing those feet and literally trying to pull yourself for all your work, you're wanting to think about the fact that it's your abdominals that are bringing you towards your legs and not your hands ripping you that way. As you let go of the neck as well, through each breath, just think about your abs squeezing down and bringing you closer towards those legs, towards the knees. Last breath, slowly coming up and going forward. We're going to do our inversions. So, dependent on the level of yoga that you've done, if you can do a shoulder stand, then that's fantastic. If you can't, or haven't done it before, I suggest if you've got a wall, you can scooch your hips all the way to the side and then send your legs up against the wall, and this is a good position to start, and you get as many benefits as well from this. Otherwise, you can also use a block. So taking a block, you can rest it just here, sort of at the sacrum, and then send the hips up here as well. When you're doing these two, don't forget about those front ribs. You're not arching, you're not tipping under, you're staying strong through this whole middle body. Otherwise, if you can come into a full shoulder stand, then let's do that. Make sure that your hairband is not in the way. So you bring your knees in towards you, come up sort of onto the elbows, and slowly walk your hands along the back towards the shoulder blades. And then send those feet up towards you, coming up towards the ceiling. Nice deep breaths. In this position, do not move your neck. Keeping your gaze gently up towards those toes. And if it feels good, you can bring your knees slowly towards the forehead and then take the toes over behind your head and come into Halasana, into plow pose. Once you're in this position, you can release the hands. If your toes do not reach the floor, please continue to support your back, trying as well to not collapse completely through that midsection. And slowly from there, you're going to bend one knee, then the other. Bring those hands back, supporting the back, and slowly roll yourself back down. And now, since we've constricted the neck so much there, we're going to come into Matsyasana, so into fish pose. Palms are alongside the hips, you're up on your elbows, and this too is really trying to be a thoracic stretch and not allowing all the movement to come from that lower back. So from here, you're going to almost scooch those hips slightly even further than the palms as you bring the crown of the head down towards the floor, really stretching the front of the throat. Controlling those front hips and still staying strong through those abdominal muscles, supporting that lower back. And from there, slowly release, coming onto our backs. We're going to come into Shavasana. So, feet extending out, falling out towards the sides, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Readjusting your clothing so that you don't need to fiddle once you come into our little bit of meditation here. And gently closing the eyes and beginning to focus between the eyebrows. Becoming aware of the rising of the chest as we inhale and how it falls back down as we exhale. We're going to do 10 deep breaths, counting from 10 all the way back to 0. If you forget your count, just begin again at 10. beginning to move your fingers, beginning to move your toes, stretching one arm up over your head and then the other, extending all the way from the fingertips down towards the toes. Bending one knee and then the other. Slowly turning to the right side, staying here for a moment. And then slowly coming up to sit. We'll do some alternate nostril breathing. So, taking the right thumb, you'll gently place that on the right nostril. Index and middle finger gently touch between the eyebrows. And then the ring and pinky are gently resting on the left nostril. So what we're going to do is gently rocking the right nostril with the right thumb. We're going to inhale through the left for 3, 2, 1. Rocking the left nostril with the ring and pinky finger, releasing the right. Exhale through the right for 3, 2, 1. Inhaling through the right. 3, 2, 1. Blocking gently the right with the thumb. Exhaling through the left. 3, 2, 1. Inhaling through the left. 3, 2, 1. Blocking the left. Exhale through the right. 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right. 3, 2, 1. Exhaling through the left for 3, 2, 1. That's 2 rounds, another 3 rounds on your own. Once you're done, arms gently on the tops of the knees. From here, bringing the palms in the center of the chest. And you can rub palms together, creating warmth and heat. Placing them over gently the tops of the eyes. Placing them on the shoulders, your heart, stomach, and sleep. So I hope that you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, feel free to send a message and I will try to get back to you. But otherwise, join us again next week for another one of our yoga classes. Thanks so much for joining and see you soon. Bye.